Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sandy Zimmer and I'm a Close to My Heart maker from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. Today I will be showing you how to make this card using our Springtime Border Stamp of the Month and our Now and Forever stamp set. So here's that Springtime's Border stamp set, and it's available for February 2023 only. And this Now and Forever one is a special that is only available for a short period of time. So if you're interested in that, you might want to order it quickly. And I'm just looking at which sentiment I want to use here. So there's that laugh often and love much, but I decided to go for the love you more. And I decided to do this card in Harbor ink. And you could use various colors for this technique, but I decide I just want to use the Harbor. I don't know, something about just that consistency that I really love. So now here on my scoreboard, I have some lines, and they just help me to line it up to score in between there so that I know exactly where my lines are going to go, or at least help me to figure out where they're going to go. So I'm sort of scoring in between there just to give me an idea of where my lines are going to go later. So now I'm taking that Hearts off the Springtime border, loading it on my block here, and again inking it up with that Harbor ink. I love that our stamps are clear and you can see how much ink you have on there. I just move it around a few times on there to get a good coverage. And then my stamp is just a little bit too short, so I just come in and do that little end there. And then I'm going to go back to my scoreboard, use my bone folder and create another line. They're sort of like grout lines. I'm not sure what the name of this technique is or if there is a name for it. I've been playing around with it and I kind of love it. So now I'm going to use these roses, and there's a background and then there's the sort of more detailed part. So I'm just grabbing some scratch paper there, and I'm going to stamp off a little bit on there and then use my second generation on my card front. And I decide that I want to do one up on top there, and then I want to do one on the bottom. Now, had I been thinking a little bit more, I would have put my Post-it notes on there already, because I kind of went over the line a little bit with that bottom one. Here I'm doing the second layer, and I'm not stamping that one off. I'm just using the original color, so it's a little bit darker. So that gives that layered look on that rose. Here I am, a little too late, but that's okay. I'm doing the detail on that bottom rose there, just lining it up to make sure I've got everything going. And so then the details there. Now I go back to my scoreboard, use my bone folder and create another grout line in between there. And then I decide I'm going to use the butterfly border from the Springtime. And I'm going to fill in one of those little spots, as well as kind of go up the side of that rose. So I'm just spinning it here. I love this little border stamp. It's just great for things like this. Back to my scoreboard, using my bone folder and again creating that line. So you can see there all those lines. Admittedly, I was off a little bit with some of these because when I'm filming, I'm not right over top of it, so it's hard to see exactly where they're going. That's my story and I'm sticking with it. Now I'm going to use these butterflies, and they're created pretty much the same way as that rose. So again, I've got my scratch paper there, and I'm stamping off. And I decide I'm going to put a couple of butterflies on here. And again, if after you did the grout line and you use a Post-it note, you could actually fill in these spaces even more than I did with stamped images. And that's kind of fun to do too. But I wanted to keep this one kind of simple just to show you the technique. So now I'm going in with that second color, which is really just the original Harbor, and spin that around and do the other butterfly. I just love that layered look. I don't know about you guys. These stamps are so much fun. And the great thing is with using stamps, you can do it in whatever color you want. So you can create quite a lot of fun images with them. And again, back to my scoreboard with my bone folder. And now I'm just going to fill in that last little bit of a spot there. And I decided to use the stamp for this one. So I played around with it a little bit, got it pretty inky, and then went in there and I twisted it and put the second one in because, again, I wanted to fill that spot in a little bit more. And then I thought, oh, there's kind of a lot of white space at the bottom here. So I go back in there, cover it up with my Post-it note, and then stamp some little hearts off of that Now and Forever stamp set. So then I'm putting quite a few of them in there because I just want to fill that space up. Okay, so that's it for my grout lines. Now I've got my blender brush ready. I've got some Post-it notes. Now again, these weren't the greatest Post-it notes for this project. I would probably buy Post-it notes that have more stick all across the back of them. These just had a little bit of stick at the top, and so it wasn't really the best thing. I used that little one to cover that little space, but it did work. It would definitely be better if you had Post-it notes that stuck all the way down though. You can see there it lifted up on me, so now I've got to kind of hold it down with my fingers and do it, but it's doable, but it's certainly not the easiest way to do it. So I'm going with a pretty heavy hand around the edges to create a nice thick border and then lighter in the middle. So there's kind of the beginning of it. So now I'm using the Post-it note with the part that's really sticky, and this definitely works better. So just masking off those pieces. Yeah, then I decided that Post-it note was just too long. There was no point in having it so long. So inking up my blending brush again, going in there and then going around the edges. And again, you can leave that center white, or you can just go really lightly across the center. Didn't have my pieces quite lined up there, so I just wanted to go in and fix that up so I could get a nice blend on there. The nice thing with this blending brush is it's very smooth, so you can go gently and then you can add more and more color if you want to. So I'm trying to leave a bit of a grout line. I'm trying to leave a little bit of white in the middle. And again, because I'm not directly over top of it, I'm kind of doing it from the side. I didn't do a great job of that, but if you're not doing with a camera, then you should be able to get those lines a little bit straighter. And I'm going to do the same thing with each one of these little pieces. And I love how it just blends in, and now it's so pretty. I love it when you start with a piece of white paper and you create something that is just, in my mind, totally awesome. You can, of course, do this with any stamp set if you have stamp sets already. It's just nice to be able to use them in a different way. And I feel like you can use bits and pieces of them and you can repeat them. And, you know, if you had to use the roses more than once or twice or whatever, you could totally do that too. So now just going in and doing these little butterflies. I had thought about maybe going in and coloring those little guys too, but I thought I'm just going to leave it pretty simple, and I'm just going to do just the harbor and the white and just leave it at that. It's kind of hard for me to do because I'm kind of, you know, an over-the-top kind of gal. I love to add some bling and I love to add, you know, different layers and whatnot. But I felt like this card was pretty interesting just using these techniques. Again, you could totally use this on a layout as well. It would take you a little bit more time, of course, and you'd need a whole lot more Post-it notes, but you could totally do it, and it would be very interesting. You can also do it without the grout lines and just do, you know, just random stamping kind of thing all over your page if you wanted to do a layout. I really do love this inking technique, though. I really think it adds a whole lot of fun to the card front. So the card front that I'm doing here is 4 by 5 1/4, and it's on the white daisy. So you can see some of my grout lines are pretty wide, and some of them aren't as wide. But again, you know, I'm going to chalk that up to not being looking right over the top. So here I am putting it on our card bases, which of course we carry and sell, and they come with some beautiful envelopes as well. So there's the finished card, and again, I'm using that Springtime Borders and the Now and Forever stamp set. and the Harbor ink and the blending brush. So again, my name is Sandy Zimmer. Thanks for watching. If you are interested in any of these products, I will put a link in the description where you can get them from. And I would really love it if you would subscribe. So hit the bell to do that. Like, share, and leave a nice comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.